Hi, Greta Provost here, coming to you live from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, in the smoking hot Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I hope for all of you locals, you are staying somewhat cool and drinking lots of water. Today, I wanted to chat with you and tell you a little story. So I'm kind of doing a bit of a new format on here, sharing, a story as it relates to business or social media or life in general. And I wanted to ask you, do you have the ability to pivot, which in my book is also to problem solve? So if you feel like you're really, really good at that, drop in the comments for me. And I know it's a word that has been used quite a bit over the last year and a half, as a lot of us have had to pivot and change and the way that we do things. So for those of you that I haven't had a chance to meet yet, just a little introduction about myself. I'm standing here in Front ROI Marketing Headquarters, help people share their unique story, their unique business, and put that out front in the digital world and the digital space, and just love helping not only people succeed in life, but also in business. And I want to talk a little bit about, again, being able to pivot. And I haven't probably shared much of this story before. I know a little bit about this story, but this relates to my building our house. And probably besides having children, one of the hardest things that we've ever had to go through, which is we had, going along building our house, which for any of you who have built your own house, you know how difficult that is to begin with, and that you have to problem solve on a daily basis. You have to make decisions, you have to problem solve, you have to figure things out. And things are going along with our house, and we come to find out that the water district has actually filed criminal charges against my husband. And we, because of a situation that we had with the water district, we were not able to come to an agreement because there was a lot of confusion with our house and the house next door and the property next door. There was a lot of confusion about where the water assessment bills, kind of like the HOA bills, if somebody was in an HOA, they confused like two different houses and they were billing HOAs to one, and they thought that they were billing it to a different location. And then there was a whole little thing of putting in a water meter, where most utilities that you are doing, so like with Avista here, you have the choice. You can either put in a box, the panel, yourself, or you can have Avista do it, and they will charge you for it. So you can either do it yourself and get all the equipment, have it approved by them, or same type of thing where with our house, that we put in a water meter, and then you still have to have it turned on and have the water being able to go. And they actually filed some criminal charges against us, which then in turn ended up being dismissed. We had to actually sue the water district in order to get water. Now, technically, I'm not really allowed to share a lot of the details of the actual outcome, or the details of the whole event, but eventually we did get water. But this was about a year and a half that we had to put mostly a complete halt on our house building in order to deal with this lawsuit. And extremely, extremely difficult situation to go through and have that lawsuit happen. And the reason that I am bringing this up, I mean, in the end, we persevered. But the reason that I am bringing it up is because we had to, in that situation, and I feel like it's the same thing when you are you're growing a business and as well as like raising children, that it comes down to so many different areas of your life that you have to be able to pivot, make a direction change to over here because of something that happens. And if you want to keep going and move forward, you have no other choice but to change the direction and to change, pivot to over here and take a little bit of a different trajectory, so that it's super important to be able to problem solve and keep your wits about you. And obviously, doing the lawsuit, like there's tons and tons of emotion involved with that. Like having somebody file criminal charges, it's like, what? Just the most absurd thing that I've ever heard in my entire life. And it was cheesy tactics to try to coerce and for people to get their way, which I think is completely wrong in this situation. But nevertheless, after this long process and lots of lawyers' bills, it did come out in our favor. But it was very, very, very difficult. And so thinking back to those situations where you just have to take it like one piece at a time, one day at a time, and really think about, okay, how can I, list the things that you are in control of and the things that you can, make a change towards. And so putting those things where you can list the things that you are in charge of, how you can choose to react to those things, and then coming up with solutions to the problem. So that's usually a little bit of my process. And I feel like that works the same, whether you're in business. Okay, here's what I know, here's how I can react to these things, and then here's some of the solutions to the problem. So probably not, the most uplifting story. I guess it is in the end, because I feel like we prevailed. But I want you to go out there and think about some of those situations and how you can pivot and change and keep moving forward in order to reach your business goals or your life goals. Thanks so much for joining in. I appreciate it. I'll be back next Wednesday at the same time, 3 p.m. and Pacific time. And with that, go out and have a absolutely fabulous day.